My name is Matthew Joseph. I live here in Madison, Connecticut with my partner, 4 children, a dog, and a bearded dragon. I subscribe to the Cube rule for describing food with regard to starch placement. So a hot dog is actually a taco. Now, based on the things I've just told you, you can probably glean some things about me. Perhaps I haven't lived in Madison my whole life, because I said I live here, I'm not from here. I have family ties, but maybe I don't like one of the pets because of the way I said it. And I like food, clearly. Who are you? Your name, your address, social security number, everything on your government-issued ID card, your passport, it's all data. Your identity is made up of data. Your money is data. Banks are no longer money companies, they're data companies. Shoe manufacturers are no longer shoe factories. Through digital transformation, they've become technology companies that happen to sell shoes. I would like to talk about several subjects, so I'm going to bounce around a lot. My goal is to define these terms, gain some consensus, and hopefully give you some tools, if not just ideas, to better manage time in your life. Time is our only non-renewable resource. So how many therapists does it take to change a light bulb? 1, but the light bulb really has to want to change. As human beings, it's in our nature to resist change, especially uncontrollable change. Change causes stress. Stress increases your cortisol level. Increased cortisol level can contribute to a shorter life. Change of job, change of relationship status, change of residence are the top 3 stressors in life. But if you can measure it, you can manage it. So we're on this globe rotating and revolving around the sun, and this uncontrollable change causes a lot of stress. So much so that we measure it. We call it time. So if time is money, how do you spend your time? Did you know that bees perceive time? Scientists figured this out by conducting experiments. So they put the bees out, they put some food out every day at 4 p.m. Every day, the bees would go eat. Proven, right? Bees perceive time. Well, what if it's the sun? What if it's the shadows? Okay, so let's remove some variables. Okay, let's do it in the dark. So they conducted the experiment in the dark. Sure enough, every day, same time, bees came out to eat. Well, what if it's the wind, or maybe the temperature of the earth? Okay, great. Let's eliminate some more variables. Put them in a salt mine under the earth. Reduced a lot of variables. Same time, every day, bees came out to eat. So finally, a scientist did the experiment in Paris, fed them every day, and then flew them to New York. In New York, they came out the same time, Paris time. They came out 5 hours earlier, New York time, proving that bees have an internal mechanism to perceive time because they were jet lagged. We too perceive time in many different ways, from fractions of a second, like horses in a race, Kentucky Derby coming up, to minutes, to weekends, to years. How old are you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are you doing next weekend? We perceive time, too, in many different complex ways. So complex, time, change, these are things that we perceive. But did you know that you don't feel water? You don't have wet receptors. What you're feeling is a change of temperature and a change of texture. So those 2 variables combined together give you the sensation of wet. To turn on a faucet to get to that water is a relatively simple task for most people. Yet it involves many different complex senses. Your sense of proprioception, geospatial awareness, and then of course the temperature and texture to actually feel the water, temperature, to turn on water. Much like water, we don't have data receptors. You don't feel data. You don't taste data. You don't smell data. You experience data through 2 senses primarily alone. Sight and hearing. Your favorite streaming platform, data. Your favorite podcast, data. Anything you're looking at on a screen, data. So, how important is it for this data that's governing our lives along with change in time to be accurate? So working in information security, we have many frameworks that come in threes, which make for great Venn diagrams. So this is my Venn diagram of Venn diagrams. Number one is the CIA triad. For more information on this, you can go to NIST.gov. That's the National Institute for Standards and Technology. And number one is confidentiality. You want your data to be confidential to you and whoever you share it with on social media and that company and the terms of use that you didn't read that you agreed to. So what kind of data are we talking about? Well, your healthcare data, your banking data, financial data, the cookies in your browser history. That's all data, and if you just felt like your heart jump a little bit, you might want to take a look at your data. But you want it to be available to you. I need it when I need it. So one time I put my mobile device face down on the kitchen counter too hard and cracked the screen. And for a brief moment, I felt liberty. I was detached. I was no longer tethered to this ding. I can't see it. I can hear it, but I can't see it. And my stress level started to go up. What was this meeting about? Where am I supposed to be? Am I picking up the kids? Was this an important business meeting? I have no idea. Data defines reality. And then, of course, it has to have integrity. So it has to be unmodified, authentic, true. So let's conduct a little experiment here. By show of hands, how many people prefer cats to dogs? Okay? All the cameras, the AI, the machine learning is picking up on this. Boom, we analyzed it. Great, here are the results. Does this data have integrity? For those of you who voted for cats, how do you feel right now? Maybe a sense of injustice? You want to take action, correct the data? That feeling, that call to action, that inspiration was caused by data. Data without integrity, but data nonetheless. So how much more important is it for that data to have integrity? So we can further try and help secure the data with a workforce framework, people, process, technology. So we are the people, you are the person to bring it down to an individual level. We ideate, we create, and we build relationships. No matter how much we automate, people are always going to be necessary. So please embrace automation. And then process. How are we going to get this done? What is your appetite for risk? What are your goals? And then what tools are we going to use to get there? What technology? What kind of data does this technology give off? How can we leverage this data to find not just correlation, but causation? So correlation is the relationship or patterns between two variables plotted on an XY axis. But our eyes have evolved over time to see in 3 dimensions. That's what makes it really usable for us. So we have to add a variable, a 3rd dimension, to plot it in 3D. So instead, like of the bee experiment, we're not removing variables, we're adding them. I want more data. The more data, the better. Then I can fine-tune my experience to reach my goal. But the problem, like the cat-dog poll experiment, is people. People have emotions. We feel pressure. External threats, whether real or perceived, will cause us to act on it, will cause us to rationalize. Because we're the good ones, right? We're not the baddies. And then to find opportunity, which is why I don't keep cookies in the house, because I will eat all of them, and I will rationalize why I should eat all of them. What you're looking at here is CMS.gov data. It's open source data that you can download yourselves. It's a lot of healthcare data. What we did was downloaded opioid prescription data. And we're using machine learning and k-means algorithm. I said, this is my appetite for risk. And you can clearly see the cluster, the green cluster. That's my appetite for risk. That's okay. I don't need to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the red dots because those are anomalies in my data set, and I want to find out what's going on. Or to put it at a personal level, these are the red flags in your life. You can apply these concepts, these frameworks, these standards to your own life to better manage your time and focus on where the data tells you to focus. So what can you do? Step one, take inventory. Take inventory of your devices, the data in your life. Of course, your mobile device, your laptop, your tablet, your car, your refrigerator. Maybe you have to record some of the data, how many push-ups you did that morning, or how many times you went out to eat. There may be other external sets of data that you can incorporate in that. You know how you can take a device to your doctor and plug it in and they can give you a better diagnosis based on your health data? What if you took your social media data to your therapist? If you felt a little heartbeat there, maybe there's a gap between who you are and your online personality. And looking at the data can help shrink that gap. That's a good thing. Ignorance is not bliss, and the data does not lie. Time is our only non-renewable resource. Data defines reality, and if you can measure it, you can manage it. So if time is money, how do you spend your time? No one on their deathbed ever said, I wish I spent more time at work. I got to run that one last report. I got to file that one last thing. The greatest regret we have on our deathbed is not spending time with friends and family. So leverage the data that's in your life to better manage your time, gain some time, get home on the early train, and spend your time with friends and family. Thank you for your time.